Dream Team, it's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are. NBA legends and players explain why Pistol Pete Maravich would destroy today's NBA. I know Pistol Pete is legendary. Pistol Pete Maravich, phenomenal, amazing, incredible. But the title, this tried to be more of a clickbaity title. Would destroy today's NBA. Could he play in today's NBA? I'm sure. Would he destroy today's NBA? No. We're going to watch it, though, because I do like Pistol Pete, and I do love his game, and I do think he's incredible. It's just the fact, destroy today's NBA. Stop it. We're getting out of hand.
Imagine Pistol Pete Maravich in today's NBA, a man that players and even legends say was several generations ahead of his time. The guy was shooting deep shots before they even introduced the three-point line. By the time he did, it was the last season of his career. He had dribble moves that players didn't even think of, and had unique passes that even the greatest point guard of all time, Magic Johnson, had to steal from. Just think about this. This guy scored 68 points without a single three. Imagine if he had a three-point line while scoring that many points. This is just a crazy thing to do, especially for a guard. Pistol Pete was a pure scorer and an elite shooter and had a limited range that would make a nightmare for any defense in today's NBA. He was known for his ability to shoot from well beyond the three-point line, and his quick release and accuracy will make him a lethal threat from anywhere on the court. In an era where the three-point shot has become a staple of the game, Maravich's ability to shoot from distance will be a huge asset to any team. So I'm going to show you NBA legends and players talking about how good Pistol Pete was and why he will be dominant in today's NBA. After this video, let me know how many points you think a prime Pistol Pete will average in today's NBA. So enjoy the video, man.
For men,
26.
he had all the tricks, basically. He could play in any era. He would dribble between his legs, behind his back, throw great passes, had great shooting range. And he was a great scorer. He had 68 points in one game, averaged 31 points one season when he led the NBA in scoring. So he could play in any era, the era before, during, or even today.
Man, you couldn't steal it from Pistol Pete. He come down there and make up shots in the air.
Yo, what the F was that?
Man, you couldn't steal it from Pistol Pete. He come down there and make up shots in the air. The no-look passes, the dribble the ball, then pat it with one hand. That's where I saw that from Pistol Pete. That's where I got it from him.
Now Maravich brings it up behind the back. How do you do? A little showtime there.
Handles. And people always say dribble. He handled the ball like with the yo-yo. He could go this way with it, that way with it. He could put it this way. Next thing you know, the yo-yo goes out that way. But the yo-yo was the best. Okay? The basketball was like an invisible string on his hand. I mean, he could really handle the ball.
Pete was a tougher competitor in himself with his floppy socks and laissez-faire attitude, on the court, so to speak. He was a guy that could do it all. I mean, offensively, we used to talk about it, a lot. Even talk with him because we were friends. And the things that he did, he practiced them. Nothing that he did was so much spontaneous. It was because he had done these things over and over again in practice. And he got 68 on us, and when I was with the Knicks. And I used to tell Clyde and Butch Beard that he only got 6 on me.
He shot a shot in practice. He came down on the break. He shot it. He let it go. He turned around and started running. And as the ball ripped the net, he said, he did he did this, and we all went like, Larry did that. Larry got that from him, and he would do stuff like that. I was like, man, how good is that guy? He shoots the ball, turns around, and he runs it. As he's ripping the net, he just does that. Then we play horse. And he had some shots where he jumped out of bounds. He had shots I never thought of ever shooting shots.
Outside the line, jump in with 2 feet. It's off the backboard now. Come in the line, off the backboard. Spin on.
There you go, Bubba.
That didn't seem too hard.
Got a lot of tricks. Jump it on in, spin it off the backboard. It gotta be a bank. Gotta be a bank.
I mean, for today's players, I just think he was just so ahead of his generation. And I completely agree. He was generations ahead. And I think he could be really good in today's NBA. Like Pete Maravich, though, the passing is absolutely phenomenal, first of all. Absolutely incredible. Ball handling, great. Shooting, nice. I said about 26 a game. 26 and 8. I'll say that.
Gotta be a bank. Gotta be a bank. There's the whistle, and the first letter goes up on Hawkins.
You play Pete in horse, and it was an adventure because you go like, okay, I got no chance of beating him the first time.
Pistol can make that ball talk, I think. Pistol Pete is a natural nickname.
Having the kind of career he had in college and bringing that same game and style in the pros, you know, really make people, or I would say the people that didn't really get a chance to see him, really miss something. We lost him too early. You know, because I think his accomplishment to the game of basketball, man, and how he played it and how he loved it and how he can do things with that basketball that most couldn't.
Leonard, Gervin.
We gonna remember it for a long time, man.
I've achieved a lot of great things in my entire lifetime in basketball, and I think I probably should feel fortunate that I was able to do what I did and have the relationships that I did and so forth in basketball and played before the people and had the fans I've had and so forth. I think that means a little bit more to me now that I've gotten a little older and so forth than even a world championship with me.
I met Pete when he was maybe a sophomore in high school. I met him at Dolph Shays' camp up in New York. And his father, Chris Maravich, was a guest speaker. He brought his son, you know, he couldn't have been more than 13, 14 years old. But the skills that he had as a basketball player, even at that young age, were unbelievable. You knew that he was going to be a great player. He was an exhibitionist, the dribbling, the passing, you know, throwing the ball, taking it off its head, shooting it into the bag. I mean, he had so many tricks, it was unbelievable.
I would like to be remembered as a person that played the game, for one standpoint, to entertain the fans.
Man, I love that.
That ball looks
I love that Pistol Pete.
like a part of his hand. And I said, he must spend a lot of time dribbling and able to shoot the way he can shoot.
Pistol was like a guy, the game was boring to him, so he had to create things to keep him interested.
Pete just has so much razzle-dazzle in his game. He was just hard to guard.
The way he handled the basketball so flippantly and so sort of carelessly.
So nice.
Really offended a lot of basketball purists.
I love
Pistol
that.
would do, he would take the ball and set it behind his back, catch the ball, shoot. That was sweet. He was a true entertainer. And I think he looked at entertainment more than basketball.
He used his basketball as a form of self-expression, and one of the real leaders in bringing basketball into this sort of area of artistry. That was like his form of art.
It was like the ball was an extension of him. He could shoot it from deep, he could take it in, he could wrap it around. I mean, he was doing stuff that you never saw.
That's crazy.
You know, and you never see a white boy doing that on top of it. There's a white boy on top of it. This ain't a brother out there. He must have had some brother in him because he was a dazzler.
Pete was blessed with a great amount of.
I love that. Like he had to put a ridiculous amount of hours. Any great player who's ever played had to put a ridiculous amount of hours into being great. But I love the fact that he was making moves up and stuff, right? For basketball purists get mad at him because he was so careless. I love watching a player go out there and have fun playing basketball. Go out there and entertain playing basketball. I'm a big fan of that. If you're not on a court and not having fun, then right, I don't know. It's the way that I love to watch basketball, is to see players get out there and have fun while competing.
Ability, natural athletic ability. Pete could do a lot of amazing things with the basketball. He was really a showman. I mean, Pete would go out there, put on a show. I mean, that's what he wanted to do. That's how he looked at himself, as a showman.
Pete Maravich was so far ahead of his time. He was 10 plays ahead of everyone else.
He was a showman. Played the game with a tremendous flair.
I mean, you look at Jason Williams, and you think of Pistol Pete.
Looking at some of these little guys here, they probably never saw Pistol Pete play. I hope they look on YouTube. Tell them who Pistol Pete was.
Woo! You know, in college, Pistol and I fought for the the scoring leader in the country. And all 3 years, I was second to Pistol. And I used to make excuses. The only reason Pistol scored more than me is because his dad coached him and so on and so forth. Until I got to play against him. And that was a lot of baloney. He was, goodness gracious. It's hard to describe somebody that was about 6'6", 6'7", handle the ball as well.
Pete was that tall?
Or better than myself. He just didn't shoot the basketball. He was a pure shooter.
Yeah.
He would pass the ball through the eye of a needle. I got a chance to play with him for the first time in the high school All-American game in Memphis. And it's tough. You're trying to play your game and you're watching him.
Yeah.
You know, you're in the backcourt with him. We were starting guard for the All-American team. And I got to be great friends with him from that point.
I can remember when Pete got traded from Atlanta, where he started his career, over to New Orleans when the team went down there in his expansion team. And they had never won a game. They were 0-14, and they were the worst team in the league. And Otto Moore was the center, and he couldn't do anything, but Pete was just lighting them up. And the Portland Trailblazers, we go in there, we had a team, and it was not the championship team, but we had a good enough team. And we were pounding them early, way up at halftime, and Pete in the second half just takes over, and he goes absolutely wild. He's playing 1 against 5, and he's up and down the court shooting jumpers, hooks, full court behind the back passes through guys' legs. He just everything. And at the very last play of the game, we're up 1, and Pete dribbles up. 4 of our guys go chase him because they know he's not going to pass it, and he's falling out of bounds, and he shoots it as he's tumbling over the row of fans in the corner.
Literally.
And I am standing underneath the basket waiting for the last rebound of the game. We're going to win the game, and they're not going to win a game ever, the New Orleans Jazz. And the ball swishes perfectly through the net. He's unbelievable. And he reminds me a lot, if you can compare him to anybody, to Steve Nash today, although Pete was much bigger. Pete's 6'5", and much more athletic in terms of the jumping ability until he tore his knee up. I mean, that really changed everything for Pete. And amazing about Pete, 44 points per game, career for 3 straight years in an era with no three-point line. Dale Brown, who coached at LSU after Press and Pete were there, Dale Brown went back and charted all the games with the running score. You know, Maravich free throw, Maravich 22-foot jumper, Maravich layup. And he calculated that with the current college three-point rule at 19.9, Pete Maravich would have averaged 13 three-point makes per game, which would have given him a career average of 57 points per game under today's rules. That guy is unbelievable. We love him.
That's
we miss him
insane.
terribly. What a great friend. What a great human.
I would like to put Pistol Pete at 2, because for me, he was the first, no offense, Brent, he was the first white guy with style and flair that I've seen. So
Why would I take offense to that comment?
he said no offense, Brett. Why, Brett? Like, I know Pistol Pete was great. Why would I be offended?
Well, hold on. No, but Ernie's white. Ernie is not white. Ernie is light skinned. He's white. Ernie is light skinned. Ernie, what up, cuz? What up, boy? No, but my question to the panel is, was he the first white guy to have the flash and style and between the legs and behind the back? I mean, because my favorite move was the move he did to Jerry West.
Pete Maravich, he would take the basketball, right, and he would fake the pass. He would bounce it here, bounce it behind him, fake the pass, and you as a defender would jump, and he'd turn back around, catch the ball, and shoot it. That was a hell of a move. And I was like, okay, I got to try that. So I tried it in the game, and Steve Coulter stole it.
I was labeled very young as a showman. Try to bring fans back. You have to do something other than just put the ball in the hoop.
Pete Maravich's unique abilities would translate seamlessly to the modern game. If Maravich was playing in the NBA today, he would undoubtedly be one of the best players in the league. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and tell me, again, how many points do you think a prime Pistol Pete will average in today's NBA? So make sure you like, share, subscribe, and show us the YG gang, and I'm out.
I'm gonna say 26. That's what I'm gonna go with. That's all we got. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. It's your boy D. Neal, out.